Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Sarah Stevenson Tuesday Morning Forum.
The recent one that we wanted to share was the one in Belize. And when we go to these places, it's not just, straight fun. We always go there with the intentionality of we're going to satisfy the three pillars that we're about. So one's going to be agriculture, one's going to be social justice, and of course is the mentorship side. So when we were in Belize, one of the things you were going to be able to see was from our social justice or service side is us building a home in 2 days. Now granted, it wasn't like one of these $1 million homes in this community here in Villa Heights, but it was, 2 days. We were putting up the sides, the foundation, the doors, and so there was a family of 15 that was in like I dare say it was like a 6 by 12 or something. And so we went ahead and we built another house for them. It took us 2 days, and mind you, because of how hot it gets, we only had a 4-hour window each day to do it. So a lot of the stuff was preparing the night before and then getting there and start cutting, because from like 7 to 12, that's your window. After that, it's just too hot. And so one of the videos we would have showed you some of the work that we've done, how we were able to finish the project in that time. While we were there, we had an opportunity to visit some of their local heroes, gone to several museums, and then at the end, we had an opportunity where each of them were tasked with a particular item that they needed to research. So we had 12 or 13 boys that went. One had to deal with the military, another with food, another with the government, another with natural heroes. So everywhere we went, they were gathering information about the country so that when we came back, we were able to do a presentation. There's several things that allows us to do. We've just finished doing a series on public speaking for them. One of the things that we thought was absolutely important, if you ever come to one of our meetings, is that we're teaching these boys to speak and how to project their voices. If you have all this information but no one can understand or can hear you, what good is it? So we're going through the series, and now they have this opportunity where they're presenting in front of donors and supporters about this trip that they went on that wasn't just about fun and game, but they were in there learning about the culture. We were learning about new and inventive ways to utilize the agriculture, how they use their food and their crops to combat COVID, and what plants they used. And so we were learning all this stuff, and they were taking notes and coming back. And one of the great things about it, from a mentorship standpoint, is that now it gives us an opportunity to dig a little bit deeper. So we are one of the few mentorship programs that I know of that meets as often as we do. Some programs will meet once a month, twice a month. We meet twice a week. And then in the summertime, it's almost 3 times. So 3 times a week, we got Wednesday is our manhood training. Saturday, we're at our farm, our pharmacy, we're growing side by side, having communication. In the summertime, we have our Rosa Parks Farmers Market, where they also come out and, with our produce that we grow, we bring it to the market, we sell it for proceeds to continue to support the program. It's where we've met a lot of you all at times. And then I, as a Mashari, I'm personally responsible for reaching out to the ones that I personally mentor at least once a week. So 2 meetings, 1 phone call, and in the summertime, there's an extra meeting time. So we meet as often as we do because it's important. It's because we know that there's a lot that can happen throughout the week. You can meet them for a couple hours, they can put up a facade and then go home and just be hellish, if I could just be real with you. But what we found is that when we get a chance to go on these trips, we can dig a little deeper. We can see things that we haven't. We can reinforce things that we've been trying to do, because now we have you 24 hours and we're sewing into these kids. There's not a moment that is wasted, whether it be we're pulling over, we're pumping gas, or we're all into the convenience store and we're reading instructions, we're reading calories, we're whatever it takes. We're pouring into these boys, and it's one of those things that when we're done, we feel like we need a vacation. Because as much as we try to create this experience, it is absolutely exhausting. Absolutely exhausting. And then we were in this place, just to speak to it, we were not in a resort. So when we go to these places, we go into a village, like, so we want the experience, right? So if the majority of people aren't living in these villas, then that's not what we're doing. So we're in this place, and there's no AC. We got these hot fans, and it's just blowing air. We're just sitting there like, oh, man, this is just too much. But it's an experience we will never forget. And unfortunately, we don't have the video to show that. But what typically comes out of that is this heightened level of camaraderie. This point of where we fully understand this youth, what triggers them, what's going on, how to empower them, how to motivate them. And it's a work that I'm so grateful to be a part of. It's one of those things where I'm so proud of the work that we're doing at the Males Place. I say it's the greatest organization that no one has heard of. We've been at it about 30 years now. This year is our 30th year, and we've been pouring into these young males for that long. This past Sunday, I held an alumni event, so I'm over this kingdom. We break them up into kingdom. I'm over the Zulu kingdom, which is typically they're in South Africa. And so what we do is when they come in, we assign them a particular kingdom, which is in a region in Africa. So we have the Zulu, Nubian, Ashanti, Dogon. I'm over the Zulu, which is South Africa. And I brought all the ones who graduated from the program who were part of that kingdom. And we all came together, giving those who graduated an opportunity to sow into the ones who are in the program. This is what it looks like as soon as you get out. This is what's happening right now. This is what's going on. And that also provided me an opportunity because there's this notion and misconception that I've experienced that once these kids are 18 and they're out of the house, they're ready to go. And that is far from the truth. A lot of them are just struggling. Like, yeah, I got all this free time. I don't know what to do with myself. And so I've begun to initiate additional programming to really help them navigate this kind of period where it's you're 18 to like 25, what should you be doing? And now has your palette changed? Have you changed your interests? Can we now get you a mentor now that you have a better idea of where you want to go? And so that's what I've been kind of cultivating and doing. Within the program, once we go through our rites of passage, I'm typically responsible for the financial literacy piece, where we just kind of go in, making sure that the bases are covered. You know about healthcare, you know what a PPO and an HMO because now you're getting your first job. Now you got to apply for benefits. What does it mean? Well, let me help you with that. Understanding what's the routing number and account number. Basic things that we should have learned, but it's not something that we can just count on that's being taught. So that is my time, I believe. I want to pause for a second and sit and answer any questions that you might have.
Just a couple. Oh, I'm sorry.
You know. You already. You know. So what we do is we recognize who has questions from the audience. We make a list of names, and then we proceed to call on the people so they can answer in that order. Now, Ms. Faith Triggs, please proceed with your
I'm sorry, my fault. What's the age group, and then what is success? So when the kids go through the program, what does success look like?
That's a very good question. So the age group is typically 12 to 18. We do have some grace for those who are a little bit younger but are mature. We call them our junior warriors. So right now we have one person that's a junior warrior. He goes to Charlotte Country Day. He's one of the classmates of my daughter. And then one of our junior warriors is now part of the main group, which is the 12 to 17. So what does success look like? And that's a great question because whatever is not defined can never be determined. So one of the things that we like to do is make sure you understand your purpose and are you contributing to your community, your family, and your people. If we can sit back and say, you know what, this is a young man who is understood what we kind of instilled in him, is giving back. You may not be a CEO, you may have gone to college, maybe you've gone to the military, but your mindset is, I'm doing this because one, I need to establish myself so I can help go reestablish my community. So if we can say that and speak to that, we consider that success. There are those who will go off to a trade school. We have several at the aviation school. And this is like an opportunity that we've exposed them to. As long as we can see that they are contributing, we haven't had anyone in jail, arrested, or nothing like that, we count that as success, given the trajectory where they might have gone, if not for the advantage.
We have a question from Ms. Jackie Walton.
Yes. Can you tell us, Baba and Bashar, what those definitions are? And can you tell us what it is you do right now when you say that you prepare them for financial literacy?
Sure, absolutely. So we'll start with Baba. So Baba is a term, I believe, is Kiswahili, which really means so someone who's just really wise, a Baba. So in our culture, in our community, the Baba of the community would be the person who has the most experience and knowledge, and we would all glean from. So we're in a situation where we're mentoring young boys, and the Masharis like myself are being mentored by our elders. So it's time-honored traditions where you're passing on wisdom down orally and through experience. So the Baba is the kind of one who galvanizes everyone. He is the patriarch for the organization. The word Mashari also Kiswahili, which means elder. And so I'm 45. I don't feel like an elder unless I've been running and I'm out of shape. But my job as an elder is to kind of pour into the young mentees. And so as a Mashari, I follow up. Sometimes you got to show up at school. Sometimes you got to show up at the house. You're just available to pour into and inspire in any capacity that you can. My work as a Mashari, when we do our rites of passage, is I teach financial literacy, which is stemming from the work that I do outside of the mail's place. When I came to Charlotte, I either wanted to be a sports agent or work on Wall Street. I did the sports agent thing, and I blew my money. They just took me for a ride. I didn't know what I was doing. And then it was like, okay, well, let's work on Wall Street, but Wall Street was in New York, and that was a long commute, and I didn't want to do that from Charlotte every day. So I got started here. I got introduced and wanted to learn about it because my dad died without life insurance, and I didn't know we were struggling until I came to UNC Charlotte, and we were in a class that had like, I don't know, 130 people in it, and the professors, I'm trying to make a good impression, so I'm sitting in front like I normally do, trying to make a good impression, and he's talking about stuff. I had no idea what he's talking about, and I'm looking around thinking, is anyone else as lost as me? But they're all nodding their heads. Like, yeah. And so I'm just like, after class, I run to his office and say, listen, I missed some of this assigned reading because I was totally lost. And he says, no, there was no assigned reading. I was just going over basic stuff. And that's when I knew, I was like, wow, I don't even know the basic stuff. And so that started my journey to understanding financial literacy because it wasn't taught in my community. So whatever I learned, I got licensed in, whether it be life, health, long-term care, investments, whatever it was, I got licensed, went back, was doing programming and workshops for the Haitian community and everyone else that would come out. And that's kind of the work that I do now.
All right, we got a question from Tanya Robinson. Before that, can you mind, we got our mics back. We have a streaming audience. So if you wouldn't mind responding with Mike, Mr. Robinson.
Yeah, I came a little late. You might have addressed this question, but how are you funded?
Okay, very well. So Mr. Baba Reggie Singleton mentioned, so historically the funding has come through a somewhat grassroots approach where we've had opportunities to speak to nonprofit organizations, churches, and those who know about the program. Parents will tell colleagues, hey, my son is in this program, would you mind supporting? We do popcorn sales. We have our collard green sales, which we're known for, which will be coming up this year. And so we started off that way. Most recently, through some of the exposure through WFAE, WSOC TV, who've come out and done stories about the work we've been doing, we've had an opportunity to acquire a couple of grants, one through True Life Federal Credit Union. I believe we also received one from the city of Charlotte most recently. And so, and I think that's happened probably in the last 10 months. But historically, it's been, some might say antiquated, but it's been working where we just, one person telling another person, inviting them to come to the garden, see the work that we're doing, or come on a Wednesday night, see the programming, see how we're changing lives, see how we're taking the long, timid young male and seeing how he develops into this man who looks you in the eye, gives you a firm handshake, and has an idea of the opportunities that's afforded him.
I got a question.
Yes.
So again, this is to a live streaming audience. We don't know who's watching. So what would some of the Mills Place loftiest dreams be for the organization? What is some programming that you would love to institute if you had unlimited money?
So we continuously will act as if, so some of the work that he's doing right now, where we're going out and we are facilitating, if not leading, the growing and creating these edible landscapes. So this is not, he's going out, but we've done this for Friendship Missionary Baptist Church. We've gone to other communities where we've gone in there with some of our partners and we've created these gardens for them. Ideally, what we would love to see, number one, we need more land. Right now we have about 7,000 square foot of land. If you go there, everything in that garden we built. So from the raised beds to the shed to the fencing, everything you see outside of the irrigation that we've assisted in, we literally created ourselves. We do need a vehicle, and it would be good if we had a standing building that we could meet in. Right now, we're meeting at the health department, and sometimes there are some challenges there as far as getting in and waiting. But you know, our family, they don't complain. They just wait until someone comes in, and we go. We get right into our programming. So, given an opportunity, if we had a blank check, I think the priority would be more land so that we can continue to develop, grow food, and increase the work that we're doing. Transportation and a building that we can say is ours, where we can have space similar to this that we know we can begin to outfit and house some of our programs to receive some of our donors when we want to have receptions and stuff like that.
Thank you. We got a question from Ms. Charlene Henderson.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am thankful that the program is there. I've had the opportunity to tour the area and to see how it actually works. So the age range is one of my concerns. I probably missed it. I apologize for being late. The age range, and are you willing to have that duplicated like at church, like at, I guess, faith-based organizations? Are you willing to have that program duplicated in different areas? Because I know that the youth right now is running rampant, youth adults as well. And I'm just trying to see how we're able to, I guess, get more programs for them to have things to do and to utilize their hands more. So do you feel like where you are is all right, or would you like to see that duplicated like in the faith-based organizations? Because we gotta figure out this debt thing because they don't have anything to do.
Certainly. So one of the work that we do, we're always looking for opportunities to plant what we do anywhere, really. We have a blueprint that works. We're currently in conversations with Charlotte Country Day in one of their affinity groups where they're trying to figure out what kind of programming can we do for the minority students at this predominantly white institution to help them and make sure they feel connected. And so we've had several meetings already with them, and a lot of things that they're looking to establish, we've already been successfully done, and we have a blueprint to say, all right, as long as you have these things, we can easily plug and play. So speak to what you're asking. Yes, we can, and ideally that is a goal that we can say, you know, whether you're in Texas or Philadelphia or whatever the case is, we can implement this program here and just kind of show you what we do from a week-to-week basis and then how that works. As far as the age, once again, it is 12 to 18, and there are times where there are those who are a little bit younger, where they're a little mature, and we can handle. Typically, we won't take someone younger than 12 on our international trips because it's a lot to handle for those. And so I hope that answers. So we are prepared to do that. We do have a blueprint that we could plug in any faith-based organization. Because once again, the biggest thing is finding dedicated, faithful people. Because, and that's kind of what we're constantly looking for. As good as we feel about the organization and the goodwill that we receive from it, it's very difficult finding people who have the wherewithal and the time commitment. We don't want people just coming in and out. So it has to be someone that's willing to say, all right, I'm sold out for this cause. And like when I made that decision, I had to cut some things out in order to be effective the way I wanted to be.
We have Mr. Tommy Robinson, then Ms. Jackie Owens-Walton.
Yeah, Is this organization just for males, or is it for males and females, or who is it for?
Good. Yes, so this is a male mentorship program. One of our models is that it's a guided journey into manhood. Guided journey into manhood. And so what we're looking to do is address really the young black males, any delinquency issues, literacy, things like that, that's plaguing that particular community. It's because I've grown up as a black male, and that will be my area of expertise. So that's just kind of really what we focus on. We often get questions about females and things like that, and we're all for anyone starting that, but you know, we're gonna kind of stay in our lane, and this is what we're known for. This is what we do. Yes, ma'am.
I want to ask you first about the sweet potato pies. Do you plan to go back to selling them right before Thanksgiving? I'm sure it was labor intensive, but a lot of folk depended on that on the table.
Yes.
And
okay, so I'll answer that. So one of the things that you're hearing, and if you guys have not been exposed to like some of the stuff that we do from our agriculture, we will literally take the collard greens and sweet potatoes, and then we'll partner with some of our other farmers, and we would sell sweet potato pies. And it's really, really good, to the point where people are looking for it, they're asking for it every single year. I thought I was gonna have an answer about the sweet potatoes. I probably won't know until this weekend, because I have that, we're meeting on Wednesday, and I know we'll address it, but I know we've been speaking about it, because people have been asking about sweet potatoes, and I know it's been a blessing to families, but we are definitely doing the collard green sales. And last year was the first year we sold out of our collard greens in 39 minutes. And we had 175 boxes. Each box handled 12 bundles. And in 39 minutes, they were gone. And so that was great, because we were waiting for people to come pick them up. But after 39 minutes, we were just in there on the electric slide, just waiting for them to come on in. But that was it. So grateful for that. So if you have an opportunity, if you start putting some type of marketing out in that, take advantage. See what all the fuss is about. Yes.
my other question had to be, how do the young men or the parents, because I know you're parent focused also, get to know about your program? And are they mostly lower wealth boys, middle class? How's that demographic?
So most people, when they find out, it's always word of mouth. Or sometimes they'll come in and they'll type in a few keywords and, hey, I need to find something for my son. I'm looking for mentorship programs, and maybe they'll, most of it is word of mouth. They'll hear it, and then we invite them to come visit. A couple of visits, come on a Saturday, come on a Wednesday, we go through an orientation, and then, just tell us what you think, because really, we know that we're a program, we're not for everybody. And I can tell you, one of the biggest hurdles for the boys coming in is the level of accountability. If there's one thing that is going to cause them, this is not for us, it's too much, is we will hold them accountable to a T. I'm giving you an example. We know that they're not driving. We know the 12-year-old's not driving. But if the parent is late and the 12-year-old gets there and it's like, okay, there's gonna be consequences. And we know, like, hey, we're not gonna unjustly penalize you, but we're going to say, hey, look, this is part of the role that we want you to be prepared for as a male, because you're going to be a black man because you're a black boy. But the type of black man that we want you to be is one that is going to hold himself accountable. And so we start at the moment that they get in. And so, we will continue to grow and groom these young males. And, we're having some really good success, to the point where some of these ones that we've graduated are coming back and they're starting to mentor as well. So definitely grateful for that. Did I answer everything?
Yes.
Okay. You sure?
Yes.
Okay.
I can circle back around.
All right.
All right, we have Dr. Blanche Penn, and I have a question.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My question, I know I've been knowing Reginald for a long time, but I'm not sure if he's familiar with the Charlotte flights. which was a Park and Rec initiative. And Reginald's been doing this for a long time in the health department. So is this initiative eventually gonna go as a nonprofit independent, or are you still gonna stay somewhat or are you still under the umbrella of the health department? And if so, why would you not want to change it?
So, from my understanding, I do not believe we're with the health. I know that we have a partnership and an initiative with them because we'll partner together for like the Rosa Parks Farmers Market. And I think it's because of his working within the department, us being able to utilize space for them. And that's kind of, I believe, the extent of the partnership. So to the degree that we can really stand on our own and have our own facility where we can meet, then that's something that we're obviously looking to do. But that also takes funding. So without the funding, we're kind of really at the mercy of trying to get things done. We got the winter months, and so we got to make sure there's a place that has heat and things like that. And so if we can get that, if we had a facility like this, then we would absolutely be self-sufficient and standing on our own.
I have a question, then we're gonna go to
Yes, sir.
Faith Trigg. So, given all of this access and just surrounding these kids with resources and tools based in agriculture, is there any intention or a collaborative effort to create a pipeline to institutions like North Carolina A&T that has a strong emphasis on agriculture? Like, is that, are you nurturing those curiosities to create careers? NC State, other institutions statewide that have that agricultural focus?
Good question. So this year with the implementation of our Mashari of, he's like our educational Mashari, we've been going on college tours. We have right now, last year was the first year where we've had this handoff partnership with North Carolina Central. And so the focus isn't just about agriculture, it is about skill set, it's also about mentoring. And so North Carolina Central has a mentorship program that they bring the boys in a little early, get them fitted with kind of red blazers, and you begin to merge them into this college process. So we have begun doing that. With our college tours, we're exposing them to universities and opportunities to where they can further and just build on curiosity that they have. But it's in its infancy stage. This is probably month 11 of us really going out and seeing how that's going to work. But between Central, which more of the alumni have kind of reached out, we've had an opportunity to work with them and their program out there. And then with the work that we do, we're constantly showing them what are the career opportunities for the work that you're being exposed to now. So from agriculture, what does it take to take this from a seed to the marketplace? And that's one of the benefits of the Rosa Parks Farmers Market, is they begin to see how that looks like, what that looks like, all the things that's involved, from the machinery to why is it so important to watch the news, why is it important to plant before this date, so that the plant can grow before the first frost, which is tonight. They're understanding the science behind it. So then also when we go on our Sankofa trips, we're learning other ways that these other Caribbean countries and things like that, how are you dealing with the same things that we're faced with? So they're starting to see it from a really big picture, from the micro, both the macro level, and then saying, hey, if we see that there's an interest there, then we begin to just funnel them with as much support and resources in those areas that we can find.
As you reach out to A&T, I know there's a lot of money out there for Black kids who are interested in agricultural studies and farming. So
okay.
I think there's a lot of potential there. We got Faith Trigg for a question. Then we're going to go to Ms. Laura McClellan and Tom Rouse.
Can you share maybe some of the things that you grow in the garden, the food, hours of operation? Because I'm not familiar with this, so I'm definitely.
Okay, so if you go down Betty's Ford Road, it's 1909 McAllister Drive. Some of the things that we grow, so we have 2 seasons. So right now we're in our fall seasons, which is typically where we have a lot of our greens. So we'll have our mixed greens, we have our collard greens, Georgia greens, Swiss chard, pak choy, kale, cabbage, broccoli. We just pulled up the okra because okra was running rampant and it was just wonderful. We have our hibiscus, moringa. We have have some turmeric, we have peppers, and that's all from the fall. Let's see, kale. In the summer, we will have all of our fruits. So we have the blackberries, blueberries in the front. Outside the fencing, we have our big peaches, pears, and plums, which, once they grow, the community comes by, they just kind of grab them, things like that. I will warn you, if you want peaches, you have 7 days to get them, because after that, they're gone. They'll come out, and the only ones that are left are the ones that are too high. So unless you're carrying a ladder, you're just not going to get them. So be on the lookout for those. But every summer we kind of decide, okay, what are we going to put in there? And then we analyze what is the science behind that? Why do we want to put this in row 1 as opposed to row 2? What can these leaves that overgrow do to protect whatever? So, you'll have in the summer times, we'll do more we have some wheatgrass, we have more of the moringa, we have lemongrass, we've done rice, strawberries, we did watermelon this past year as well, and that's what I can remember that we've done probably between the summer and now. Yeah, so we're indulging in a lot of stuff.
Hours of operation or something.
So we're in when we first plant, that first planting day is about 5 hours of getting it in the ground after turning the ground over. Then after that, every single day, we water twice a day. So the Masharis like myself, we all pick a day where we go in and we water. We water in the morning and then we water in the evening. And we'll do that for a couple of weeks until it starts coming forth. Operational hours is just about 4 or 5 hours a week, but what's actually required and what we actually put in, if I include the hours that I put in and everyone else, you figure it's going to be at least 3 hours a day, every single day, when we're going in there. And then monitoring, because you have a big rain and it falls over, taking inventory, what do we need to replant, is there enough time, do we need to, so it's just nonstop. When he says that we're nonstop, we're nonstop. There's some programs we may take the summer off. We don't have the capacity. We're just doing too much.
My question is,
Yes.
and you may have mentioned this, and I was not listening well, but do you all encourage entrepreneurship with what you're doing at the mail place? Do you all encourage the young men to think about doing something like this and having their own business? Do you all encourage that at all?
Yes, so part of our programming, as we bring individuals in, just talking about different career aspirations, a lot of them, I would say about 75 to 80% of them are business owners. And so they get exposed to, okay, well, how did you get started? What resources are needed? And, once again, we're bringing in people from a diverse background, sharing their story and their experience, and say, okay, well, if you guys feel a connection there, then we'll, connect you with that particular speaker and allow them to pour into you personally. I know, like for myself, I'm a business owner, so yeah, they get that conversation from me all the time. But it's about them finding a passion that when they're doing it doesn't feel like work, and finding a ways to scale it so that way they can get paid. So yes, we do. Every opportunity we get, it's just, hey, we want to train you so that way if you go into the workforce, you are a model employee and you're responsible, and we teach that by holding them accountable about timing and do you have your uniform or your hoodie or things like that we wear, and making sure that you understand that it's something that you have to, you're responsible for keeping up with. And that, we believe, translates into making sure you're showing up to work on time, having your bags, not being the person that has to go to IT because you lost it again or whatever. So we do that. But if they just say, no, I want to go this about on our own, then part of the extended community of people who come and support will show up from time to time are a lot of business owners who will come in, and those are the ones who've been sowing seeds and helping us kind of continue to finance the work that we do. And then we give them an opportunity, a platform to pour into them by sharing what they do. And, they always ask questions, and as they do so, you find levels of interest.
Okay, we got Tommy Robinson, Chris Robinson, then Faith Triggs, then Ms. Jackie Edwards Walton.
Yes.
You might have addressed this, I came in a little late, but what are you trying to create? I mean, what kind of man are you trying to create?
Good question. So one of our models is it's a guided journey into manhood. So it is mentorship, but it's a guided journey into manhood. And what does that look like? Because some of the work that needs to be done can't be done in 2-hour stints. Because you can put up a front for as long as you want. You can say the right things, but it isn't until we can grab you and see you how do you operate in different situations, different areas of stress. So the type of man that we're trying to build, that we are building, is the one that doesn't really make any excuses. When we talk about time-honored tradition, there is this idea of this male who understands that you have to be a provider, that you have to love and be about your family. So it says God first, family, then the male's place. But we ask them, one, we want you to be God-fearing. We don't tell you a particular religion or things like that, but I always tell the ones that I mentor personally, there's going to be 2 most important decisions you're going to make in your life. I said the first one is going to be the God you serve. The second is going to be the woman that you marry. I said, so we need to, at least the group that I get a chance to talk to, I start pouring into them, helping them to understand that there is a God in my particular worldview, helping them to connect. So what is prayer? How do you connect to that? And then we get into some of these other intangibles that, like with these young boys, dating is one thing. There's this whole idea of being able to attract and, get a girlfriend, but what happens if it's not working? Do you have the emotional intelligence to know when this is not right for you? And how do you back out of it? We don't want to build men who are absent. So if they're in a situation where there's a single parent home and it's just their mom, well, then they're aware of what it looks like for a male not to be in a boy's life, and that's not the role that we want from them. That if you find yourself in a situation where you're growing a family, or you had a child, then we require that you be there and you take care of your responsibilities. We don't make any excuses. So whether we have the funding or not from people coming in, we're going to make it happen. Given the fact that we don't have, where everyone's every week's giving money, when we say we're going to go on certain trips, we're going to go. And we emulate and we model that behavior by showing them, hey, look, we have a budget shortfall, but we're going to make it happen. And we prove that, and we show that to them. And then so that way we can hold them accountable. Look, we're here. We're here early in the morning. We're here putting in this work. We're here doing this. We're modeling the behavior that we want to see in them. And then we're showing them how important it is to care about your community. So we don't just service them, we don't just service their family, but in the location that we're in, there's people, in the community who may need their leaves raked. They have big branches of trees that have fallen and they need us to come cut it and haul it out. We service our community. We want them to be mindful. There's a point, if you ever come on a Wednesday, where when we're doing our introductions, we're asking them about positive experiences. And that positive experience is, what have you done to make someone else's life better that week? I don't want to hear that you got a good grade on that test, which is great, that was for you. But what did you do to lighten the load to improve the position of someone else? And we ask every week because we want it to be a lifestyle, that you're walking around, finding ways to leave a positive impact on your community. So those are the type of men that we're looking for. The ones that will be driving and see you on the side of the road, those are the ones that's gonna pull over and say, I'm gonna help you change that tire. So that's what we're looking for, and that's what we're instilling in our boys.
All right, we got Chris, then we have Ms. Triggs. All right, Chris.
Hey.
So that kind of leads into my question. Do you guys come into communities kind of like, I guess, volunteer outreach to help community gardens or elders who are interested in growing foods but maybe need help every now and then with?
Yes, so we've done that from our inception. We are always helping. So they call out and say, hey, listen, we have an idea, but we don't know how to execute it. So then one of the Saturdays, what we'll do is we'll divide up our group for, all right, we need a group to stay here and maintain what we have going on here, but we're gonna take the majority of you and we're going to grow or put together these raised beds. We're gonna plant for them, and then we're gonna continuously provide them support until they can handle it on their own. So yes, we absolutely, will take our group and say, hey, we're gonna help you. And we've done that from donors to organizations, from United Methodist or Friendship to a bunch of individuals who've asked us to come in and, hey, I wanna do this, I don't know how. And so we provide them with information. We may even provide them with seeds if they need it, soil if they need it, using our resources. If you need us to build a raised bed, we'll do it. If you need us to plant it, we'll do it. And that's the kind of way that we give back to our community.
All right, Ms. Faith Trish, you're gonna have the last question, and you're gonna finish with the closing statement. Oh, I'm sorry. Ms. Faith, Ms. Jackie, then you're gonna close us out with a statement.
Sure.
Can you talk about, in the sense of how the young men earn the trips to travel? Is there a point system? Are certain things that they have to accomplish, or everybody goes on the trip? And then can you just share some of the countries that you visited or the particular cities in that?
So recently we've had a conversation about earning the trips, because I think when I first got there, I just missed the trip to Ghana. But then, this past year we started talking about, well, how do you qualify? Because when is the cutoff time? When have you put in enough time to warrant us, shelling out a lot of money to take you? Because when we institute these trips, the parents don't have to come out of pocket for anything except for some spending money once they get there. We will finance 100% of the trip. Now, surprisingly enough, when we have these trips, not everyone goes. So we may have an active 20-something males, and from that, 15 might go, and it'd be for a myriad of reasons. Sometimes there are some personal issues at the house where the dad's not there and out of spite won't sign off on the passport, so the kid can't go. They may be where they decided, hey, we're gonna go somewhere else, but somewhere we already have things planned. So it's actually available to everyone to go. Once we, we get an idea how many people want to go, and we say, okay, here's the budget, this is what we need to raise. And then we just our head down and we go for raising the money for it. We are in the process right now of really beginning to quantify and qualify, all right, what does that look like? Can you be here for 3 weeks and then just be ready to go? Is that fair? So we're looking at addressing some of those concerns, because I had it when we were in Belize this past year, and to speak to some of the places that we've been. On the international side, we have been to Ghana twice. We've been to Cuba. We've been to Belize this past year. Some of our local Sankofa trips have been to Selma. We've been to DC. I think there was, we've done the Sankofa trip to Charleston, South Carolina. And all these areas are just areas where there have been historically kind of Black influence, where we can kind of look at culturally, historically, what have been our impact and how did we get there and what did that look like? So we begin to give them this level of education that they're not getting in the school system, because it's hands-on. You're literally meeting people like when we were in Belize, they were I forgot the name of the village, but in order to get there, we had to take another boat into this other small island and meet this group that was just in there, and they were flourishing, but they were part of the original people that were there. And those are stories and narratives that you don't get to hear, but that's what kind of brings that level of impact. Like, you're not even gonna read about them in books, but here they are, they have their own flag, they have their stories, and you had an opportunity to meet them. So they are open to everyone, and we are in the process right now of being able to kind of qualify those trips in the future.
All right, our next presenter is, so we gotta make this quick, Ms. Jackie. By the way, the Garifuna people.
Garifuna.
Yeah. So Ms. Jackie, and if you could please keep your response to less than a minute.
Okay, my question will be less than 30 seconds. my question has to do with how can we, find out about the 39-minute call-up sale? And, how can we get you those small donations?
Okay, awesome. So if you go to themailsplace.org, there'll be opportunities for you to see upcoming events, as well as to provide a donation if you'd like to, as well as if you follow us on social media with the same, The Mail's Place, typically on Facebook and Instagram, then all of those announcements are made there with links for you to have an opportunity to, say hello, sow a seed, or make a request.
Thank you so much. Please, round of applause.